Yo, homies, gentlemen, ladies, welcome back to the A Show. Justin and Meelz, Kings of Pro Wrestling Podcast. We are back for the final episode 167, final episode of 2020. Thank God. Not because this is the final episode, but 2020 is almost over. Meelz, what's going on?
Listen, we made it. I mean, we made it. It was a tough year to experience. We have documented quite a bit over this year of just us through various forms of strain and depression and dealing with America and how they suck when it comes to dealing with this pandemic. Even going through the phase of like, I don't even want to use the word pandemic or COVID on the show anymore. Like, I don't need, because it's just it's too depressing. But we made it. I don't know if we haven't fully. I don't want people to get under the impression that we've made it out the other side, as if 2020 means the end of everything that's going wrong. But we've at least made it this far, and I think it's a nice little checkpoint. But I'm cool, man. I'm here in between holidays, relaxing.
How was your Christmas?
My Christmas was filled with getting other people gifts, and now I have to figure out what gifts I'm getting for myself.
Oh yeah, I did that. One of my gifts came the day before Christmas Eve, so that was cool. And then my next gift is coming today. But I was just into giving everybody else gifts. I had a really great Christmas. Though. I got a great gift.
Oh my!
I gotta say,
that's good. I mean, I saw it, so I was pretty like, wow. Is this like reimbursement? Is this like reparations for the massive engagement ring? It's like, wow, a PS5. It's just like how Twitter told us.
No, I think. I mean, I told her last year that's all I wanted this year. So she had a year. And I mean, the engagement ring probably had a little bit to do with it, but it's just being a great, a great fiance. You know what I'm saying? Great guy. You know what I mean? I love her so much, and just to see, that she listened. You know what I'm saying? That was great.
Absolutely.
That was, like the thought mattered. If she wasn't able to get it, she was like, "What if I didn't? What if I wasn't able to get it?" I was like, "You know what? We would have got it together." You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have tripped about it. So it was dope, and shouts out to her for coming through, man. That's a major come through.
Absolutely,
you gotta admit that's a major.
No, I mean, it was major. It had games, it had controllers, it had everything attached to it. Obviously, this was both planned and executed in every way, shape, and form. So I'm very.
What's funny is that she got it literally days before Christmas, so she had everything, but the system was not there.
Clearly, she would have to have had a contingency plan if PS5 wasn't in the plans.
Yeah, it would have been all those things that I had except the big box. I would have been like, okay, we got to find the big box now. So luckily, we didn't have to go through those issues. But shouts out to my boo. So I hope everyone else had a great Christmas. But we have to start today's show off on a downer note.
I want to before we hit the downer note, I just definitely want to note to everyone, just as we're starting this thing. So this is a Monday that we're recording this. So yes. Evidently, I think we might put it on Tuesday. We might as well just put it on Tuesday. I don't think we should wait longer, to be honest with you. Let's just get it out the way. If you want to enjoy it on Wednesday at normal time, you can still enjoy it on Wednesday, but I feel like we should put it on Tuesday. And
okay. I don't argue with that.
So I'm prefacing this for, if you don't hear anything about how Monday Night Raw was, this is the reason why. Because we're recording hours before Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw in 2020 has just become such a non-factor that it doesn't even matter.
Right. And I mean, when you look at what Raw was this last week, I even had it on the notes. It was largely a nothing show, had a pretty fun main event. There was really not much to talk about on the show at all. So we're going to leave Raw 2020 in the past and start fresh Raw 2021 next week. If we have to double up, we'll just have to double up next week, and we'll just have to bite the bullet in case.
I feel like we won't have to.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if Raw knocks our socks off this week, then we'll double up. I highly doubt it, but just we're only going to be talking about SmackDown today.
Absolutely, because I feel like if Raw was going to knock our socks off this week, we would know what matches are coming on Raw right now. And as of right now, we don't. So, yeah. But yeah, we should probably head to
Yeah,
the prevalent news.
absolutely. I really don't know how much else or how else to say this. I mean, it's pretty much been all over the wrestling news wire, but you know, as we all know, on December 26th, Brodie Lee, John Huber, passed away at the age of 41. It was such a shocker. You know, these things are never easy to report. They're never easy to talk about, but when it happens to such a good man, it makes it even harder.
Absolutely. I mean, it's so many different things. I mean, so many different wave of emotions just hit me. You were the first one who told me, and then legitimately like seconds after, I refreshed Twitter and there it was. So I was like, it hit me, and I was just like, wow, just kind of
Yeah.
wow in a way that maybe I haven't sort of experienced it in a while, because honestly, there are a lot of there were a lot of people that passed this year. We talked about it a lot this year in terms of like, Kamala and Pat Patterson and Hannah and Shad Gaspard and kind of
Mm.
everyone. And sorry if I'm forgetting anybody's names, but everyone that, was this year. But I don't think we've experienced anyone who is just so like actually engaged and kind of into it. And we just saw him a couple months ago and we were just praising him a couple years ago, and just kind of like he was
Mhm.
still in the mix, who still is a very much so championed among his peers, the peers that we look towards today. uh
Yeah.
and it was crazy. It's very rare in these occasions you have someone who is very current, very in the day, pass away. And it's always tough, especially in the wrestling world, where we deal with kind of championing and kind of like all types of fantasy stuff and all this other stuff, and dealing with it in real time.
Yeah, and loss is so prevalent in pro wrestling, and I wish it wasn't, but it is, and it's something that we've always had to deal with. I think you deal with loss a lot within loving this business and loving watching it, because you know it's happened to people that go so young. We are weeks removed from Pat Patterson passing away, literally this month. And then we have, you know, Brodie pass away. As we all know, he was in AEW at the time of this, but you know, it has just been, you know, all the way down from AEW to WWE, down to the indies, everyone talking about their experiences with him. And all of these stories are just fantastic. If you want to look at some of them, look at Randy Orton's post, look at Big E's tweets. They have been extremely, you know, emotional, but heartfelt. I think Big E is given the best scope of who Brodie Lee, Luke Harper was at the time. The Bray Wyatt one floored me. I teared up at that one.
I
It's chilling. I'm still talking about it right now.
I think reading Big E's tweets, I mean, Big E's tweets, along with, also our friend Emilio, shout out to Emilio, going through this very hard time right now. But Big E's tweets itself, it reads someone who's kind of dealing with it in probably the best way they believe they can right now. It's like stages of grief, and I feel like I've definitely been that through people passing away, where you're going through all these things, and you go through the very intense wave of emotion initially, and maybe even kind of a bit of a numbness afterwards, and now you're just kind of trying to pick up the pieces. And I mean, every couple of hours he's tweeting these great stories, and he's tweeting these great moments, and he's tweeting everything that he's kind of have that kind of makes him remember just the type of person he is. And it's really a showcase of the person he is. I mean, it's amazing to kind of see, you go through the tweets and you don't see anything bad, like not even
Mhm.
anything even close to like sideways. It's not even, and everyone who, and it's not like people would say get out the water as soon as he passed and say something bad, but you have all these sort of outpouring of like, and he was a great this and he was a great that, because that's the kind of person that he stood for. And you don't it's tough in this wrestling business, because it seems like sometimes everyone always, especially considering a lot of old school wrestlers, everyone has this hidden agenda of like getting themselves over and da 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 da.
Yeah.
But you look at what happened here, and it's kind of like he was a stand up guy through and through,
He, and he
unabashedly.
and he wanted to get people over. I mean, we can remember just going back on our show alone how he enhanced the Bray Wyatt Randy Orton thing, how
Hmm.
he enhanced the Bludgeon Brothers, which shouldn't have worked, but we ended up enjoying it anyway because
Right.
he was in it. Like he enhanced Dolph Ziggler and that feud they had for the IC title. Going even most recently to AEW, he saved that Dark Order thing. And we might I might not have been the hugest fan of the story and the character that he went with, but in ring and storytelling, he was there. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like he was just seconds away from being a real a real monster in AEW and really just taking over that company the way that he should have.
Right.
And it's just terrible, that he was finally getting his due. And I remember us talking about it was him and Rusev who had the biggest things to prove to show people in their
Absolutely.
new place.
Absolutely.
And he never he has some great matches this year, but I just feel like it just sucks because it was just too soon. 41 fucking years old, bro.
That's tough.
41.
That's tough.
41.
That's young. They're 41-year-olds wrestling right now who still are just moving and getting things started kind of on the main roster, and it's tough pill to swallow. It kind of, I think you talked about the whole AEW and thing like that. I think we're definitely one of the ones like, listen, if anyone has a gripe with how they should and anyone should have a chip on his shoulder, it should be Brodie Lee, because Brodie Lee was someone who, as much as we loved the character Luke Harper, towards the end of days, I mean, he just wanted to wrestle and show off, and he was in the best shape of his life, and he felt like he wasn't getting an opportunity, and he wanted his way out, and he finally got his way out, and he's finally got to live through a little bit of his experiences and his character in AEW, and we were just happy for him. When he won the TNT Championship, we were just happy for him, because it's like, this is where he should be. It's where talent lines up with opportunity. And a lot of times the talent and the opportunity never line up. We talk about this kind of every week with a lot of superstars on the roster, but rarely does it ever line up. And you know that when it does, it's going to kind of create the perfect storm. I think just from reading his tweets, and I'll say this, I definitely wanted to tweet this out, but I felt like it was hard coming up with the words in terms of saying it. So I'll just kind of say it just natively, and maybe I'll tweet it out at a little later point in life. But I think this kind of just showing the outpour of support kind of reaffirms me in the type of person that I am and that I should be, because I feel like at the end of the day, everyone wants to be remembered and everyone wants to have their impact, but it's just amazing to be remembered for just being an amazing father, amazing guy, and just having absolutely no words said about you. And this is, we both occupy industries where maybe you may have to step on a few people to get to the top. You may have to undercut a couple people or something along those lines, but it's kind of great to see that you can all around be a great guy and never really truly sacrifice who you are and still be praised in the way that you should be, for being, one, amazing at what you do, two, being an amazing person in the sport that you do, and three, just being an amazing person to people. So I kind of want to reaffirm, and maybe that gets people right back on the track, that you don't necessarily have to be a nasty person. You don't have to get out of your character to be kind of where you want to be. And it kind of, this entire situation is kind of reaffirmed and shown, and it just shown it in such a beautiful way with all the outpour support from both all AEW, WWE, the independents, all this thing is that, hey, stick to kind of what you are, stick to what's true to you, and you will, your legacy will be carved in a way that I think that you can most doubtably be proud of. And I think his family and kind of everyone around him is definitely proud of him.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. I want to see what AEW does Wednesday, but I don't know if I hate stuff like this, So I'll definitely try and catch it down the line. But I know they got a big tribute plan. No word on anything happening tonight on Raw. Obviously, we haven't seen Raw yet. We're not reviewing it this week, so yeah. So keep his family in your prayers, and shout out to everyone that has is trying to do something positive in light of all of this. Meelz, something that I want to do and something that
Yes.
we usually do every year. I almost forgot that we do this, but we do the New Year's wrestling resolution.
Oh, I also forgot that we do this, but please,
Yeah.
let's indulge. I forgot what mine was last year, so don't even remind me. If we
Yours was you're gonna watch more New Japan.
Oh, whew. Well, you see the way the
That
world
was
worked this year. Ah,
Nah, see, well, you were lucky. You got off lucky because they took 6 months, like 5 6 months off, but you still didn't watch it. So maybe next year, maybe
no,
2021,
I'm
we'll
not
do it.
gonna. No, I think some things we just gotta leave in the past, and kind of every step has to be moving forward, and every step has to be a different and more powerful step. So, yeah, I mean, it might be New Japan, might not be. Who knows?
Well, my New Year's wrestling resolution, I want to become a bigger advocate for more wrestling podcasts of people of color. I feel like I definitely dropped the ball this year in supporting everyone the way that I should have, and I
Mm-hmm.
want to make up for that. 21. I want to have more people on the show. I want to be on more of these shows, and I don't want people to think that they can't hit us up and reach out and we can be on their show. So I want to advocate. I want to help. I want to reach out and really try and get more people into this and show that we're like we're an army, we're a community, and this year we've had people like Armand come on and really bridge and bridge the gap between our community to new people, and I want to bring new ears to the A show. So 2021, my resolution isn't so much of a watching this, watching that, but personally I want to be more of an advocate for everybody else that's doing it like we're doing it, and in the same battle that we're fighting.
I would probably say my resolution, it follows kind of the A show format. I think we both see this as kind of like, we've been doing this for a couple of years. I think we both see this as kind of what next, what now, where do we go from here? And yes, this is a great podcast and it can continue existing as a great podcast, but I want it to be so much more than that. So it's all about, you know, what did Benny the Butcher say? This year was about branding, next year's for expanding, etc., etc. I want to take a show a little bit further. Maybe there's some actual merch that we need to. I can work on merch, but I just need to completely focus and put all my time and all and everything and line up everything. It might take longer than 2020, to be honest with you.
Well,
Revolt.
this year we got to punt this year. I mean, it wasn't it wasn't the best year to do all of that, because I mean it was just hard, like the first 6 months after March, we had 6 months of just confusion. You know what I'm saying? And now it's kind of like not getting back to normal, but people are moving around a lot more, even whether they should or shouldn't. But that is that opens the door next year for us to do more of that type of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we're still gonna be. I think we'll still be locked out for the majority of the year, but we definitely can. And I just miss, it's weird. I mean, I don't regret not going to that MSG show in March, but I haven't been to a wrestling show in quite some time. So it's tough because, like, when you go to the New York wrestling show, kind of you usually see all the New York wrestling fans, especially the ones that you see on Twitter. So I kind of usually see everybody. I will always see Jeff J at pretty much every damn show that I'm at. I will see, Emilio from time to time. I will kind of just see everybody every time, and even depends who I go with. Most of the time I go with Carlos, but I'll also see like Rob and Nelson and all this other stuff, and all these people I haven't seen this year. So I kind of hope, wrestling shows come back. I don't know what form it'll come back in, but it's just, I kind of hope so. But I would love to continue to the evolution of the A show. It's just tough. It's tough dealing with doing so much and trying to, but I think if we do some proper planning and we do some, take our time with it, I think it'll all be amazing. So maybe you guys look out for stuff in 2021 from the A show.
Absolutely. Meelz, I'm not gonna do. Sorry if this offends this week.
Good.
I already did my send off last week, and I was like, yeah, let's not. We're relaxed this week. We're relaxing. It's a holiday show. We're not gonna.
It's Christmas. If you've offended us at this point, boy.
Yeah, it's over with.
You're an asshole. How about that?
So we have a slew of hot takes. Do you want to talk about Do you want to go through all of the wrestling stuff and then do hot takes and then do our look forward of 2021, or do you want to do the wrestling stuff, later, whatever?
Let's do the first one where we get all the wrestling stuff out the way, then the hot takes, then our predictions.
Okay, cool. So we got to talk about SmackDown, man. 3 million fucking viewers.
Listen, we don't tout viewership on this show, but damn,
it is. Well, we don't tout viewership.
Ratings don't matter, but damn,
I thought it was interesting. I thought it was interesting that these ratings broke down in a week where people were like all but saying WWE was over with
because of a show on FS1. I was like, "What are you doing?" Like, oh, what is his name? What's his name on Twitter? Guy who always tweets the numbers.
Alvarez?
Yeah, saying like, oh, AEW did better in this demo than this. I was like, you mean the show on FS1 that still did 1 million things? I think it's his highest rated show that was ever on FS1. And I was like, you're really comparing that? And it still outdid AEW, which is on TNT. You get TNT in a hotel. It's just is what it is.
Even that, but we talked about it last week, the catastrophic Raw rating last week, and it was like, everyone was all but saying like, okay, WWE's over, and then this hits, and it's just like, hey, this should show you that ratings aren't a cure-all statement. They speak to only one side of the argument as to what's wrong and what's right about what's going on right now. But yeah, that's our rant on wrestling. But 3 million viewers on SmackDown, huge fucking episode. It felt like a fucking pay-per-view, Meelz, if you want to be honest. Like, it felt like it was just from the start to finish, something was happening. There were matches on screen, and it was the best SmackDown this year, in my opinion. And they've had some pretty good episodes this year, but they have been lagging for the past month, but they brought it right back for the Christmas episode, which is crazy because they usually don't even try for these episodes. Yeah. What they did this year.
I think, I think they're making a concerted effort when it comes to these tape shows because they know that it's taped, they know that the spoiler's out, but they still want people to be able to tune in. I know from someone who reads spoilers for the challenge. You can read all the spoilers you want. You can know who's eliminated when they come back, but it's the actual show itself that draws you in. It's the drama, it's the talent, it's the action, it's everything. And that's a similar thing for, SmackDown. I think honestly, and I said this on Twitter, they should do shows like this more often. And just even when you do make it live, I think it'll even be a lot more better. They might have even retained a lot more in the second hour if it was live. But
starting with Roman having a match was a huge advantage for them this week.
Absolutely. And I think, similar to the format that NXT and AEW do with their they're having television with these big matches, and they're, and a lot of that is because they don't have as much pay-per-views. They don't have as much monthly pay-per-views, but I talked about this earlier last year. The difference between Paul Heyman and kind of what's right now is Paul Heyman would reward you with stuff on television because they wanted you to tune into the show. I don't feel like we get that a lot of times in Monday Night Raw. We're usually building to a really great pay-per-view, but the build to it is so, let's have more of these shows. I mean, we have the tag team championships on Charlotte and Asuka. Of course, they're going to bring them over to SmackDown to have this once in a lifetime all-star ass match. And, we have Roman versus KO following up from pay-per-view, following up from TLC, a world championship match on SmackDown on Christmas. Bruh.
Yeah.
And just so much more that happened on that show. I think it was definitely okay. There wasn't a lot of backstage segments, which thankfully, I don't think.
Two.
Yeah.
There were two. Maybe, yeah.
And I don't think you need so at that point. Let's continue to do these big shows. As we have them, it'll be tougher to do with Monday Night Raw considering it's a 3-hour show. So you're going to have a drag somewhere, but let's continue to have these holiday shows. Raw's doing the old school Raw, I think sometime next week, so we'll be talking about that. And, but let's continue to do these St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Maybe NXT can just come up off of that title because I'm pretty sure they're going to use it eventually.
They're absolutely going to be doing more WCW callbacks in 2021. Every single time they've done it this year, it has been huge ratings draws for them, almost 2 million views. You know what I'm saying? When they do that, Halloween Havoc being the most successful so far. We'll see what happens with New Year's Evil next week. But, again, next week is a huge wrestling week, as it usually is on the first week of January, and there's going to be a lot to talk about there with Legends, New Year's Evil, and all that stuff going on. But let's step in. Let's talk about KO versus Roman Reigns cage match. Obviously, it delivered big time. KO is on another level right now, Meelz.
As we knew he could. I mean, quite honestly, is they don't seem to miss with one another. I don't know if I'm in the rare minority with this one, but I 100% do believe that cage match, to me, was slightly better than the TLC match, and I'll give my reason why. I'll say the cage match was better because it just had a different pace. It had all of the context built in from the TLC match, which was that KO can hang with Roman Reigns, and it kind of put them on an even playing field, which is something that we haven't really seen for the last month. I thoroughly enjoyed that cage match more than the TLC match, and I'm not saying the TLC match was bad. I just think the cage match kind of took it to another level. I mean, it was incredible.
Yeah, I think again there was a level of urgency. You're absolutely right where they got to it immediately in the match, and we always like to have that less of a feeling out period. Just go straight to it. This is a grudge match, and they didn't do holds in this match. They started slugging. From the moment the bell rang. There was one thing that like kept me from absolutely loving both matches, and that was the overbooking in both with Jey Uso. I just think that it's like it's very overbooked. I felt the cage match more so than the TLC match was overbooked, but it was just it's just annoying to me. And obviously I'm not a huge fan of KO getting beat again twice in 5 days. Again, it's a bit much for somebody that loses way too much as a face. I think
Right.
you got to give him something. He has to get something, and if he's not going to get the IC title, what can he have? You know what I mean? It's going to be it's tough to put him in that position, but it does help get this Roman character over. And I felt like Kevin did not look bad in the loss this time, so that is one thing. He didn't get completely beat; he just got outsmarted and cheated out of it. So, do we think this is the Rumble match?
You
And what
know,
would the gimmick? What would the gimmick be if they're already doing on WWE TV a last woman standing match earlier this month
I mean,
or early?
so, I mean, it looks definitive. You beat someone twice in 5 days. I don't know how you come back from that and demand a title shot at any instant. Um, but if I would have to follow from that, it would have to be something, I don't know, a Jey Uso in a cage, a shark cage match. Like, um, truly, I don't know where you go from there. I really don't. It's gonna be tough. I mean, really do have to get rid of Jey Uso somehow to kind of build a believable third match, and I just can't see it right now. I don't know what Roman's gonna do for the Royal Rumble. I mean, like I said, beating KO twice in 5 days, it should be
Yep.
over by all stretch of the imagination. So
But I don't feel like it is. I do feel like KO is going to be in the mix at least until WrestleMania, up to like literally. I think that him and whoever the Rumble winner is going to have like a number one contender match or something like that. Like it's going to happen. I just don't think. I just don't think it's gonna. He's over yet. I don't think
right,
he's done yet. And with Daniel Bryan, I don't think I have it on the show notes here, but I do have it in the show notes. But we can just go right to it. Daniel Bryan beating Jey Uso later on in the night, and then declaring that he would be in the Royal Rumble. Later on Talking Smack. I mean, it's looking like a lot of this is kind of getting set into motion, right?
it's looking, yeah. I mean, usually the first person who usually declares himself for the Royal Rumble, I feel like has a notable advantage. However that works. So Daniel Bryan being the first one to be like, I'm declaring myself for the Royal Rumble. It's giving him
Didn't Drew?
an. I don't even remember. It's likely, I would say likely.
I think Drew did that last year too. Yeah.
It looks like it's leaning towards that, direction, and he seems to be leaning very, very hard into it as well. Especially when you talk about Talking Smack, he's like, I don't know, this might be my last like full-time year doing this wrestling gig thing. So I've never won a Royal Rumble. I kind of want to win one, or I've never won a Battle Royal, so I kind of want to win one. So I'm gonna go to win one, and all the while shaking down Paul. At some point, they have to realize that Paul Heyman doing Talking Smack is a conflict of interest if he keeps getting shaken down every week, right?
Yeah, he might need to find a new gig on Friday nights
I was like,
after 10 o'clock.
yeah, I was like, bro, come on, you're the only one. But we'll see what happens.
but yeah, I think that again, fantastic match. We also had a women's triple threat tag elimination match between Asuka and Charlotte, the champions, versus why is it like it's literally right in front of me? I almost didn't remember. It was
Sasha
Sasha and
Banks
Bianca
and yeah,
and Bailey and Carmella.
good
What a
good house show
tandem!
match. You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of those MSG house shows after Christmas that they put on every year. And that's the kind of match that they would add on to it. Also the steel cage match. Also the Big E and Sami Zayn match. So yeah.
Yeah, it was enjoyable. I thought people are going to complain about who takes pinfalls. Should we be
Everyone
worried?
always, yes.
I don't think we should be worried about who took the pinfall in this match. It's not a big deal. I think the bigger story is that Bianca and Sasha are in the same atmosphere, and they have a common enemy in Bailey now, and that is, to me, a great story to have going into Royal Rumble.
Absolutely. And it puts them in the same level, puts Bianca in very rare air. Did you see how many other women's championships were in that match and Bianca Belair standing among them? They didn't put Natalya in the match. They didn't put Billie Kay in the match. They didn't put anybody else in the match. So it's very notable. And yes, Bianca Belair takes the pin, but it wasn't like Sasha Banks was going to take the pin, because why would she? And it's also an elimination match. And, it just is what it is.
Bianca didn't need a undefeated streak. Like that's not a gimmick that really would work for her or anyone.
And I'm sure they made it an elimination match purely to fill the time, to have multi pinfalls so they can extend it out during the show, which had very little backstage or in-ring segments.
Absolutely. So don't worry about it, guys. Stop being so precious about certain things.
You know what else are people mad about?
What?
They think that WWE's dragging Seth Rollins back to work on his hands and knees.
Oh my God!
They're like, wait, Seth is back. His child is big. They're like, his child still has afterbirth, or the afterbirth is still like around. I'm mauling too much, but they're still begging, like, yo, why is he back to work already? Like, his child is barely a month old. It's like, I'm pretty sure he wanted to come back to work. And if he didn't want to come back to work, he would not be coming back to work.
Yeah, Seth isn't like Mike Bennett. I mean,
right. And this isn't, we're so removed from and I think it's a lot still coming from the residuals of that CM Punk podcast thing where Vince is saying hey pal, we need you back for, we got Ryback coming up and we need somebody to it's, I don't think it's that much anymore, especially in a pandemic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. And also Seth wouldn't be the one that would be like, I don't want to do this. Like, he is absolutely a company guy. Whether you agree with it or not, I wouldn't be back this early, but whether you agree with it or not, I absolutely think he would be the one to be like, oh, Vince, I'll be there on January 7th. I'll be back to work. He's going to be back to work. That's what he loves to do. This is the business that he joined, to be able to do these types of things.
And his wife is also in the business. So it's not like she don't know. She gets it.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, you be out on Friday? All right, I'll be here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure she has many people that are going to be helping her when he's gone. I don't know, but
people would be mad if Becky Lynch came back to work. If she showed up in the Royal Rumble, I don't know if people would be mad or not, but I don't know if they would have the same energy, to be honest with you. I'm not sure.
And people should be mad if she's back at Royal Rumble. Absolutely, they should be mad if she's back. Seth Rollins, it's the daddy. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be there. You know what I mean? He's not going to disappear,
Absolutely.
They're not traveling either.
He's not a Playboy Cardi, He's just...
Oh, wow. Wow.
Whole lot of Seth.
Playboy Rollins. But a really good episode of SmackDown. Who do you think Seth is going to be facing? Is it Big E? Everyone seems to think it's going to be.
It feels Big E.
Yeah. Damn, where's Buddy Murphy?
Buddy Murphy chilling with the Mysterios. You chilling?
It's gone. And the thing is that Seth is the one who got sent to hell, and he's back first. He has the program on the way back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. I've seen it before. the Murphys and the Mysterio are supposed to be feuding with King Corbin and his Wolves of the Glory, or whatever the hell the Court of the King, or whatever the hell they're called. Those two ugly guys. They're supposed
Two
to.
racists and a nigga that loves steak. How about that?
We'll see how
The
it
nigga
goes.
with watch. Baron Corbin. I'm the nigga with the bag. That's Baron Corbin. Yeah, it is weird, but I do think it's Big E too. And what a better. I couldn't think of a better person to face Big E than Seth. I think that's just fantastic. I think that's it for SmackDown. No, it's not
Big
it.
E.
Yeah, Big E. Wow.
We were right there.
Big E wins the IC title in a really good match with Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn even busted out a plancha. I was like, oh, he's working tonight.
First of all, main event, lumberjack match, kind of everything in the stars, everything in motion. They've been not promoting this, but I think the storyline has been very good leading up to it. Even with Sami Zayn getting a win on Big E in the prior, and everyone was like, wait, why is he getting a win? And it's like, well,
it's a story.
And now here we are. He's the Big E's Intercontinental Champion. Great moment. They brought out the very Knicks winning Game 4 against the Miami Heat and not getting swept confetti. And the massive confetti, the whole confetti budget. People were raising him on his arms. I saw Otis raising up Big E. I was like, there you go. That's where you belong. See?
No, you didn't say that. You said you better not drop him. I saw that.
And he better not. What's wrong with him? Right where he belongs.
So really good episode, SmackDown. Really, I would advise everyone to go out of their way to watch that. Don't leave that on the DVR. Actually watch that episode. It's really, really good. We're gonna take a really short break, and then we're gonna come back with our final hot takes of the 2020 season of the A Show. So stay tuned for the A Show. We'll be right back.
We talked on Friday Night Smackdown about what's next now that Jey Uso is seemingly in your rear view mirror, and you said something that you have not gotten to check off the list yet is winning the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, we don't know. One of the things that I appreciated about being forced to retire is that you never know when this is going to end, right? Like, you never know. So you have to appreciate every moment. And even though it's been a couple years now since I've come back, I still cherish that. I still cherish this feeling. But you come up with these things knowing that it could end at any time. These things that you want to check off the list. And in my 20 plus year career, I have never won a battle royal. Isn't that crazy? And I wrestled in crazy places where people aren't very good, right? Like in battle royals with a bunch of people that you would have never heard of, that aren't overly good. And for whatever reason, some of them were good. For whatever reason, I could never win a battle royal. But this might be my last chance. So I'm making it a goal to win the Royal Rumble, to win a battle royal. And
so, last chance, Brian, this year or next year?
The last chance, but he might get out the paint. He might be thrown completely out the paint by Roman.
I think there's gonna be. I think Jay's gonna act as spoiler. I think that's a good story, right?
This is
Jay acting as spoiler.
This is clearly the Dwayne Johnson didn't accept our large check main event. So we gotta go.
Fine with it might not have the spectacle, but it'll be a better match.
Yeah. I mean, you never know. I don't know. Roman's kind of on a different level. Imagine Roman gets a 4-star out of Dwayne.
Roman and Rock gonna be a lot of talking, and we're gonna give it a 4-star off that. It's gonna be off the promos they cut in the ring together.
Listen,
like Brian.
Someone said we're gonna get into this Roman and Rock feud, and we're all gonna hate it once The Rock starts calling him the tribal queef, and I was just crying. Yeah.
That is absolutely gonna happen. That is going to happen. And you're going to hate it. And this should be a pot of shame, because I will go back to this moment you saying it might be fire, and I'm like, nah, we go with Daniel Bryan.
I'm a Rock mark, so it doesn't matter to me.
If Daniel does get another WrestleMania main event, I think it might be time to move him up a lot more slots in the all-time list.
Yo, we should make an all-time list though.
Yeah, right. Like my all-time list is a lot different. Like my all-time list might have a lot more current era people than people think, honestly.
All right, so here's the thing. We make an all-time list. Do we make one that is like specifically our all-time list, or do we make the all-time list?
I think well me and you would probably argue for quite some time about this. I think mine would look absolutely different than your all-time list. We could try.
We could try.
We might have to get Armand, Chan.
But I have to seek out some more people, to be honest.
Yeah, we might have to get a lot of people to do that because it can't just be me and you. It would never get done.
Because
I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm happy to get Emilio in on it, Kaz in on it, Wale on it. Like get an all-time list and then just put it out in 2021.
All time. Listen, A Show all time list 2021. It may be coming. We have to discuss this
because, like, I'm thinking of it right now.
Ooh,
Miz reference too. No. Anyway, yeah, like I, I'm thinking of like Daniel Bryan in the sense of this guy worked everywhere. Came to WWE, was fired, had to retire, came back, did 30, did WrestleMania again, winning the Royal Rumble and then going to Mania and the main event again. He's an all-timer, bro.
He might be an all-timer.
You can't deny that. He's at least top 3. At least top 3 to me.
At least top 3 of all time?
Mm-hmm.
Of all time?
Mm-hmm. He would have would he be at more Manias than Austin at that point? He would have more, not main events,
well,
but like
Austin's run wasn't as long. Like there's so many other people who have had longer runs than Austin. I'm not gonna put that because like you're not gonna say Edge is like a better all time than Stone Cold Steve Austin, even though Edge's run has been.
Would he be in your top 10 all time though?
No,
bet you goddamn
Edge would not. Edge wouldn't be in my top of all time. No, he wouldn't be. As much as I love the guy, he would not be in my all time list. Like not all time list, just not my top 10.
How can we make an all-time list that encompasses not only just common sense and actual like statistics and analytics, but also like personal, like because a lot of the all-time list is going to be our personal thoughts,
right?
Like,
so we need an actual rubric on like things to follow. Like these 5 things are kind of like what that we're grading on, and like how much they have, and all this other stuff like that. That's how we would have to do it.
Yeah, it was
legacy. I don't know, man. Just kind of like
you don't think. Like, hold on. You don't think that if Daniel Bryan, no, hold on. Let me look. What are his stats? I gotta go to his stats.
Daniel Bryan is great. Don't get me wrong. He's great. I don't think he's top 3 of all time
yet. We're thinking about. We're not thinking about. We're thinking about yet. Like he could be by the end of his career. Heavyweight championship once, 4 times WWE championship, Intercontinental championship, tag team champ, SmackDown tag team champ, United States, Money in the Bank. He's the Triple Crown champion, Mad Slammy Awards, Wrestler Observer Awards out the ass, most outstanding wrestler from 2006 to 2010.
If we're talking in this 21st century, I would put him in the top 10 for sure. But I can't. I don't know. We'll have to see. Let's explore this another day. We already started with the arguments that we'll never come back from. We got plenty of hot takes that we need to go through.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, everyone. But if I'm telling you, we gotta have that convo. Someone's gonna hear this and be like, "Oh, absolutely." But we'll see. Let's work on this all time list a little bit later. But let's get to the hot takes segment of the show so we can end the year with a bang of hot takes.
All right. Listen, we got hot takes pretty much out the wazoo. Let's start our first. Of course, we're starting off with our man Busby, who delivered a hot take. Let me see if this is actually his hot take. I want to make sure everyone's before I fuck things up. Okay, all right, cool. It is. His hot takes is: next to Charlotte, Alexa Bliss is one of the most protected women on the roster.
I wouldn't say that, especially not after this year.
I would say that. I don't even think she takes. I don't think she took a pin in any of those tag team matches where she lost. I I don't know if I think she's protected to an extent where it's like, wait, why are we giving her so many, like, why are we giving her so much wins considering how much she doesn't actually like deliver on an in-ring scale? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I would say she's protected. I would say she's actually highly protected, but I think it's more so because of how versatile she is. But next to Charlotte, I can't imagine anyone else more protected, to be honest with you, unless you're talking about Asuka. But I even think Asuka. Yep. Yeah, I would say Asuka probably.
Asuka's on a different level of protection, because even if you want to say, oh, she's not protected, think about who she loses to, and it's like, oh, she just loses to other people that are protected. You know what I'm saying? Like, she doesn't lose to like jobbers. So I mean, you are right in the sense that Alexa doesn't just lose to anyone. So yeah, I'll agree. I'll come down from that, and I'll agree. Yeah. She is protected.
All right, good one, Buzz. Hope you had a Merry Christmas. Let's see. The next one comes from the Tribal Beef. Wow.
Okay, well.
Roman Reigns' 2020 run has been amazing, and I'm glad he has the title again. He deserves a proper long reign, but KO should have won at TLC. The real intrigue is Roman's evolution as a heel character. The title looks right on him, but he doesn't need it.
The Roman stands are coming for you right now, because they're not about to like what we say here. I agree. I think this is it shouldn't be a hot take, but it is actually a hot take. Roman having a long run. We talked about this with Sasha. The long run thing is just such a non-argument. What is a long run? like most long runs that people have, you don't like them. You know what I mean? Like Becky Lynch had a long run, and that was the run that everyone said she should have had. And by week 6 of the run, people were already tired of it.
You know that Finn Balor had a long run in his first title run in NXT, and he probably defended it like 3 times.
It is not an argument to have a long run. The long run argument don't mean much to me, because we come from an era where people were getting it hot shotted to them, and we also come from an era in the early 2000s where Triple H and John Cena had it for a year straight. You know what I'm saying? Often.
Right.
So like that's not an argument to me. My thing is exactly what Tribal Beef said, is that the intrigue is his character. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is his character. It is him evolving as that. And like I said a couple of weeks ago, you do want Roman to lose it but not get pinned. He had 2 chances in the last 5 days to lose that title without getting pinned. Now you got to do a match where he's going to get pinned.
Right.
If you don't want to get pinned, he could have lost it with Jay fucking up, and then KO managing to get the title on some bullshit, and then beating him on Friday to get it back. That was the perfect story if you were going to do it again.
Absolutely. No, that would have been amazing. Honestly, if he got it back on Friday, I would have been like, what? 5 million? Come on.
Oh, yo, I was gonna say 4 million. 5 million. Like, people would have watched to see him win that back. Like, that's the story. The story is, and plus you add another reign on top of Roman, who, the number of reigns don't mean much, but Roman definitely needs like 10 reigns, right, before he's done.
I mean, yes, he has to be an all-timer somehow, somewhere, somehow. I agree. I don't even think anyone. I mean, maybe Seth is, in terms of amount of reigns and stuff. I don't think anyone's kind of close to the like Triple H kind of echelon number. His non-wrestling hot take was J5 is right. Gunna is greater than Eminem.
Absolutely, thank you, sir.
Next one comes from Douglas Christ. Shout out to Duggar. He says, considering 2020 started with Roman and dog food and Rey Mysterio lost an eye, this year certainly had a lot. Solid list from both of you, especially most overrated. I just want you to shout out the amount of representation we had this year, from the Hurt Business to Bianca and Keith Lee to even Leon Ruff. Especially been watching too much Challenge. Especially with everything that went on in 2020, it was fire to see. Enjoy the New Year's, fellas. Well, first of all, thank you. Second of all, a lot of representation. I mean, look at the tweets, look at the stats, look at the quality, look at the material. You know what I'm saying? It's all there. We don't need to say it. I don't think we need to say it. This has just been the greatest you can look at it and see from top to bottom. The only thing that we ain't win is the world championship again. But you know what? We figure it out. I'm sure we'll figure it out.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I mean, it's gonna happen. It's not gonna. Kofi won't be the last. Just seeing how successful that was for them, just in terms of just money made and ratings and the merch and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, like it is again, like there's no question that we are in a good space. And we're in a better space than ever. I think I said this to somebody, maybe it was somebody on Twitter, that a big reason other than like personal attachment to WWE is the fact that I get to turn on the TV on Monday or Wednesday or Friday, and I can see somebody that looks like me, and they're in a position where they're not looking stupid, they're not driving, they're not dancing. You know what I'm saying? They're kicking ass, and that means a lot. And it means a lot to a lot of people to see not only just Black people, but Hispanic, Latino, all those people being able to be in that melting pot. I mean, I think it's really awesome.
Absolutely. Our next hot take comes from Scum JMO. It says, Ali's retribution would have been better than CM Punk's straight edge society if given a high profile target. Plus, they should add a Ricochet and get rid of Dio Madden. So the first part of it was retribution will be better than CM Punk's straight edge society if given a high profile target. I don't even think straight edge society is like a high profile. It was like a good thing for CM Punk, but it didn't even really work for anybody else in that group, to be honest with you.
Not Gallows, other than giving him a name to have.
Throughout. They got him away from Festus, but I don't think it helped him in any other way possible. But retribution,
cool for the promos where he would always be on SmackDown.
You're right.
He'd be talking so long that they'd have to go to commercial break, and when they came back, he would still be talking. And that was the best part.
And maybe that's what Ali things needs. They need a lot more of a purpose. They seem to just be shaking things up just for the fuck of it, but they need a lot more of a defined purpose and a lot more of a defined target. So I agree with you on the first one. I do not think they should add a Ricochet. I think Ricochet completely needs to garner the they need to work a little bit more harder and garner him as a high profile person in the fans' eyes, especially in 2021. Like, he's too good for them to just waste, because I guarantee if he went anywhere else, I'm not saying he's becoming the biggest star of Dwayne Johnson on earth, but I think he's too valuable to like keep just to keep in the background. And Dio Madden is doing cool. He looks good.
He's fine.
Yeah.
I think that, I mean, I was shocked that they didn't go after Drew McIntyre. It seemed like a no-brainer around Hell in a Cell time, but they didn't do that. I'm still not sure why they didn't just go for that. But I agree. I think Ricochet just needs to just win, and we're gonna be fine.
Absolutely.
He just needs to beat them finally. And I don't know if they're gonna give him a partner. He doesn't need one. But they just need to have him win. Fuck.
Yeah.
Just have him fucking. Just stop the start and just have Ricochet have bomb ass matches all year next year, and then we're good again.
Right, 100%. His non-wrestling hot take was Drake is the greatest artist of all time, not just rapper. He has over 10 years of relevant catalog that range from pop, R&B, hip hop, and he has a PS. I'm not really gonna say the PS because I don't really want to promote this artist on our platform. So
Tory Lanez?
Yes, he did.
That was.
I can't say Drake is the greatest artist of all time. You legitimately said 10 years if an artist has not existed before 10 years ago, so I can't really say it. Really good rapper.
Let's have this conversation in 20.
Yeah,
see where it is in 20 years. He could get there one day.
Yeah, he could. Next one is from Damian Hudson. It says 2020 Roman Reigns shows that the wrestling fan base is the greatest, and WWE should listen to the internet wrestling community. Hey, can't argue with you there. I think everyone was just like, turn him heel. Fuck it. But
yeah, they finally listened.
Yeah, but it was more so the bag. You know, WWE doesn't like to miss out on a bag. Imagine if they had turned John Cena heel. I mean, I don't know. Who knows?
The optics are different. The optics are so much different. Like, John Cena had a lot of people that he could have run through, and they was even taking people from other shows to bring over to fight him at one point. Like, it was just different. Like, they needed that new Hogan, that new Austin, to a point where they don't really need that, and they don't want to promote a new like that. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't want another Austin Rock where they can leave. You know what I'm saying? So they're not trying to put anybody in that position where they could be another one of those guys. You know, so they said they probably figured, okay, we could do Roman finally because we've got now. We have Drew McIntyre now. He could be that. We have Becky Lynch now, and she is that. You know what I'm saying? So like they have a lot of options to choose from for people that could turn the corner for them. They could have just did that with Roman. With John Cena, no, not so much so. They didn't have women that they pushed like that at that time either. So the optics are way different. I could say now confidently 10, 15 years later, John Cena should have never turned heel, and I'm glad they didn't do it.
Absolutely. His non-wrestling hot take was Jay-Z's music, which music is in all capital letters, is overrated. Great lyricists, but Kanye West, Drake, and Kendrick Lamar are all better at making music, which is again on all capitalized. I'm going to, all right, so here's why I'm going to disagree with you. I don't know if you want to step in, but here's why I'm going to disagree with you. All three artists that you named on the other side of that coin have an incredibly immense amount of help creating music. And Jay-Z does it too. But Jay-Z, I think, just because I think he's a lot more lyrically inclined than a lot of other people, I wouldn't sleep on his ability to create music.
No, it's just not true. It's just not true. Like Jay-Z is the greatest rapper of all time.
Yeah.
Whether it's music, he's the greatest rapper of all time.
Yeah.
He is that right now. It could change one day. You know what I'm saying? I've never stuck to, especially with the music, I've never stuck to the idea that these are the top three. This is the Mount Rushmore. It can never change. It can change. It absolutely can. It's the same way that people hold on to Jordan and LeBron. We're not going to get into that, but it's the same way people do that. I'm of the mind that it can absolutely change. Mm-hmm. I will never say, okay, this person will be number one forever. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just not, that's not how the things go. That's not how the world works. You know what I mean? So, as far as right now, Jay-Z is absolutely it. You talk about music. What do you mean? He's not, because he's not singing? That's fine. He doesn't, he doesn't need to sing. He's different. Like he's a different type of artist than the rest of these people are. I might not be jamming some of his new stuff, but I went back and I listened to the motherfucking Blueprint yesterday, and it still hit like it did in 2001. I listened to fucking Blueprint 2 a couple days ago. Like I always go back and listen to Jay-Z. I can't say I do that for everybody else today. So that's the argument. That's just false. Jay-Z is one of the greatest. Stop it.
Absolutely. Let's go. This next one comes from Caleb Catlin.
Caleb sent me a really nice tweet. It got lost in the salt. I was playing PS5. But thank you, Caleb, for the nice words. I just want to say it vocally instead of tweeting it. Thank you for the nice words.
Absolutely. Same here.
He sent you some nice words too. Yeah, he sent you some nice words too.
He did send me some nice words as well. Also, I think he had a birthday a couple weeks ago. So, happy belated. Jey Uso is one of the best heels in the business because I am so tired of seeing him on my television and interrupting two of the best matches this year between Roman and Drew and Roman and KO. There is no one I hate more in my wrestling programming than Jey Uso and Pat McAfee, and that's great heel work. Got to make me tune in to see him eventually when he gets the comeuppance.
Okay, Pat is a good heel. Jey Uso just a bitch. Like I feel he's a bitch.
Oh my god. Yeah, he is. I see what you mean, Caleb. I fuck with this statement. He says, his non-wrestling hot take is Eminem cannot be one of the GOATs when he's not even a top 5 white rapper. The Jack Harlow album is better than anything Eminem has done in the past 10 years. Okay, you picked the worst 10 years of any stretch of Eminem.
of Eminem or white artists in general. Let me just listen. Eminem wouldn't ever sell 50K first week.
It just isn't possible.
He just wouldn't.
He's not wired in the way to sell fucking 5-digit numbers in the first week. He's just not. Listen, people love Eminem. I do think he's one of the greatest of all time. He's not my particular thing, but
I don't see how you could look at Jack Harlow and be like, "Yep, that's the guy." I don't see. Like you listen to the album, I skimmed it, and I was like, this just isn't. It felt like Asher Roth rejuvenated. I feel like with like not Asher, but I feel like with like Jack and a lot of these like white guys, I'm just waiting for them to get the acoustic guitar.
Mm.
I'm just waiting for them to just start strumming on the guitar and saying that, I don't really do hip hop. Like that we're months away from that with him.
I'm an
And
artist.
yeah, I want people to really realize and not feel betrayed about this and really scale back your expectations of who this guy is. He has already said that he kept Tory Lanez's verse on his on that song because he doesn't do cancel culture. I really need you guys to really think about who you're advocating here. Let's really think about it. Eminem, to be fair, Eminem's never done anything like that. He's never done anything like that.
Right. No, you're right. You're right. Next hot take comes from Scott. It says, when it comes to talent evaluation, Vince is right more often than not. I would say yeah. He's got a long thing, but he's definitely wrong. He's definitely wrong at some times, but he's definitely right more. He's right because he has a lot of resources to make sure that not only is he right, but it stays right.
I mean, you can deny him. Yeah, yes, he hasn't. It hasn't been. Some of it hasn't hit as immediate or as well as before. But I mean, I cannot deny that Drew McIntyre, Becky Lynch, those are two that he built up to be the stars that they are right now. Like, it's a machine. Like with Vince, it's not just him.
Right.
And I think people got to recognize that. Like, yes, he is the final say, but there's a lot that goes into that makes sure that it's the vision that he has with it. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, it is Vince that makes that final shot, that final button press. But it's also marketing. It's this, it's that. Like, there's a lot that goes into it, and it's always been like that. And I say that it's hard as far as him being a kingmaker. He absolutely is, and how could you deny that? Like that's just what it is. Just don't be a liar, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta be true here. So yeah, I absolutely agree.
Next one comes from Kenny at KBroFee Jr. It says NXT TakeOver Portland is the best takeover of all time.
Just well, it's still New Orleans. It's still New Orleans.
It's still New Orleans. It's still
New Orleans.
I don't even
that
think
era.
That
era was just like.
The thing is, it's not even this era. It doesn't even, and it's sad to say that. I don't want to be that guy. It's like, oh, NXT used to be better back in the day, because it's still like, it's not even like a big thing. It's still an NXT. I don't want to say NXT was better back in the day, but that era, man, it just had everything. It was a moment. So,
yep,
it just is. But NXT TakeOver Portland, very good. It's still very good. Next one comes from Dream TV 2. Shout out to you. Always appreciate your support. What's good, fellas? I'm in the hyperbolic time chamber at the moment, but I'm still tapped in. You guys are great as always. Best of luck in that chamber, my friend. That being said, my hot take is that by the end of 2021, if intact, the Hurt Business can be one of the best five best factions in WWE history.
They got to me, they got a long way to go.
They got a long way to go.
They haven't faced no adversity, really.
They've just been beating up Apollo Crews and Ricochet.
Yeah, and Retribution. Yeah. I think that I'm not rocking with it. I mean, yes, I love that they're black and they pick on white boys every week, but you got to give me more than that. There has to be something more to this story. To me, they're very one note. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I enjoy them, but they're very one note.
Yeah, the show needs to kind of run through them. They need to have a lot more of a hold on the actual Raw show instead of just a segment where they're even beating up white guys or just taking or joshing nerdy black guys or something like that. They need a little bit more in the show, kind of like how Evolution, even a little bit of New Day, even a little bit of thing, just a lot more intertwined into the actual show itself. So we'll see. His non-wrestling hot take is Charizard is one of the most overrated starters in all of Pokemon. Wow, how dare you?
Well, that's for you. That's for you. What you gotta say about that?
I don't know. I don't know where did you grow up on? Because if it's not Charizard, who?
I always pick the leaf version.
Oh,
I like the leaves.
All right.
I always pick Bulbasaur. I pick Chikorita. I think the only time I kind of didn't do that was the Ruby Sapphire era. I think that was it. I even went grass for Sword and Shield.
Okay. All right. Turn that up.
I love the earth.
This one comes from Air Forces dipped in hot sauce. Charlotte's hate and the constant race baiting regarding her is disgusting. They constantly weaponize race when discussing Charlotte and why she always put in the front seat, but if we were to discuss colorism regarding someone like Naomi, it would be crickets.
Wow. Hey,
I don't think. All right, so here's the thing.
That's a take, though. I fuck with it.
It's a take. It's a strong thing. Here's my thoughts on this. I don't agree that Charlotte should be targeted because I don't think it's Charlotte. I think it's the machine behind Charlotte. And I'm about to get in my very conspiracy moment. I think it's the machine behind Charlotte who wants to appease to a very large fan base of America in terms of what she represents. But also, I won't say that Charlotte doesn't deserve to be in the spot she's in because she was terrible when she started and she is very good now. Colorism regarding Naomi, I think that's a much bigger discussion. And I would love it, when it's all said and done for Naomi, for it to be discussed. It should be discussed now, but I don't think it'll be discussed now. But I would love it for it to be discussed in the future.
Do you think it's racial?
Yeah, a little bit. Not completely, but I do think there's a part of it that definitely is racial. Because I don't think that they understand. And it took a long time for people backstage to kind of understand why.
Okay. So maybe not racial, but not okay. Maybe racial is not the best word to say.
Colorism.
Maybe no. That's the same thing. Maybe it's because then you on the other end you have examples that people because I mean like Charlotte was always going to get pushed because she's a flare, and that's not really there's not really racial about that. You know what I'm saying? But the thing that caught me was that you said. They don't understand, and I think that out of touch is definitely something that there's something there for them being out of touch for sure with how big Naomi is.
Absolutely, I agree.
I think out of touch is better. I shouldn't have said race. I should have said out of touch is probably better because I feel like it's wrestling. Obviously, there's always going to be an undercurrent of that. Absolutely, but with Naomi, I think that they don't understand what's popping right now with Black women.
Absolutely.
Period. I think like when you're trying to get that lightning in a bottle, because the thing is like we got to see what they do with Bianca first, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We can say that they do or don't understand. Like the fact that they allow Bianca to talk how she talks still is I've never seen anything like it. You know what I'm saying? Like Naomi don't even talk like that. You know what I'm saying? Like Bianca talks
she does, but it's not. Yeah,
not like Bianca does. Like
right.
Bianca talk like
she's a little bit more witty and charismatic and things with it. Yeah,
she talk like she's from the block, and I fuck with that. But it's like we're gonna see if they can if they have their head on their shoulders. Absolutely. With her. So I mean I'm not gonna say too early to tell, but I do think there's a sense of race, but there's also a sense of them being out of touch. I mean, look at who you're talking to, Bruce Pritchard, Vince McMahon. You know what I'm saying? There are not enough women, not enough people of color in that in those room,
spaces, right?
And that's the issue. Like it is there absolutely is an undercurrent of race before people get upset and say, oh my god. I absolutely agree there is, but I don't think it's prejudice to that extent. Like Charlotte was always going to be pushed like that, the same way that a Lynch or a Rollins is going to get pushed when she's of age, or Bryan Danielson Jr. is going to get pushed. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how wrestling works. But on the other end, a Kofi Kingston II, whatever, would be pushed the same way. You know what I'm saying? Because his dad did so much. Same with The Rock. So just want to clear that up.
Non-wrestling hot take was bringing up Chris's weight was kind of low. He is ugly, old, washed, hairline recession further than anything the economy has seen, and his facial features are smushed into making one spot. We don't gotta make fat jokes. Wow. Wow. Good for you.
It is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. I have no sympathy for him at all. I'm sorry.
Neither do I. He contributed financially to a loser.
Contributed financially to a loser. Put the loser's son on the show. Possibly contributed to the deaths and infections of many people for doing a show. continues to spout conspiracy theories and like them, even though he knows he has a huge public voice and image. He is, actively, like I said a couple weeks ago about his show, he's actively involved in the participation of the toxic culture within the wrestling community right now. Get the jokes off.
Get the jokes off. You fat baby. Next one comes from Jay Mysterio. Shout out to you, Jay Mysterio. I remember you had a ton of hot takes last time, and we did not get to them, so I will definitely get to yours right now. He says Profits Usos is a shoo-in for WWE Tag Match of the Year in 2021 if they play their cards right. Listen.
When's Jimmy back?
Jimmy should be back soon. He actually should be back soon. He got injured, I think the night before WrestleMania or the show before WrestleMania or sometime before WrestleMania, and it's about...
They had to get taken out of the match.
You're right.
The ladder match.
Right. So... Yeah. It should be actually. Was it before? It's definitely right around the time of WrestleMania.
It had to be after, right? I thought they were in the ladder match.
Yeah, it was after. Who got? I think it was maybe the Miz was injured or something. I don't know. There was a reason why there was only 3 people in that tag team match. But he should be back soon. I think. So I would expect him before WrestleMania to be back. And I do agree. Yes, they are definitely in a shoo-in for WWE Tag Match of the Year. And if they give it an actual program, they could be doing so much more. This one comes from Air Forces with No Laces.
Murderer. Murderer alert.
It says a lot of people talk about call-ups, but have they ever thought for a second that maybe Vince and company do not want them? I mean, let's be honest. If Vince really, really wanted someone on his roster, you think them not wanting to call up would matter to him? Or Triple H, who was demoted, this year, truly being able to block that barrier for years? All right, I didn't understand the second part, but the first part is gold.
Triple H was, they call it a demotion. I don't know if it's somebody who's making over $1,000, over $100,000 a year is a demotion. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're making well above the pay grade. If I get taken to a role where I got to do less shit and still make the same amount of money, I'm good too. But I think that is absolutely a case that, like, sometimes Vince just doesn't want them. Like, I've heard stories of Vince looking at, certain people from NXT and saying they're way too short and I don't know what the fuck they do. I remember hearing stories of Vince absolutely hating the people in NXT and being like, why did we sign these people? You know what I'm saying? I've run the gamut of a lot of Vince stories of him just not getting it with certain people. And that just seems to me like Vince-isms. You know what I'm saying? Like he just, some people he just doesn't get until he proved, you got to prove yourself to him. I think you start to see it, when people get pushes and the type of things that they do, but that is the case sometimes. But I think he also knows business-wise that there is a audience for those people, and that's why they stay in NXT and not on the main roster.
Absolutely. And non-wrestling hot take: DC is far ahead of Marvel when it comes to heroes and characters, but they're doing the universe completely wrong. Marvel down bad, but at least everything connects somehow.
Okay. Okay.
Next one comes from J Mac. It says Roman Reigns is gone from WWE in 3 years or less. I don't even think that's a hot take. I think he's pretty much told us that. Listen, them teeth tell a lot of stories.
You got to pay for them somehow.
Big E's IC title run is going to be better than a chase and eventual loss of the Universal title. I don't agree, but I don't think that we should, as a thing, and maybe this wasn't part of the hot take, I don't think we should look down on the IC title thing. I think the IC,
no, not at all.
Yeah, I think it's a very much so important part, of his story, and I think it's obvious they want to put him in the position, but they want to see what he really can do on his own. I don't think there's full faith in Big E yet. So this will show it. And I think once you look at this title reign and look at the opponents that he has and look at the story that he has, and you'll be able to determine whether or not you're going to get your Universal Championship Big E in the future. So
I just asked Chris Novak, like, Yo, what I looked at betting odds for the Rumble, and Big E is the favorite. You mean to tell me that Big E just got the IC title will lose it?
I don't think. I mean, maybe he doesn't lose it. Maybe it becomes Universal versus IC, winner take all at Mania.
When he loses, then people are gonna be pissed.
I mean, yes, people will be. Their non-wrestling hot take, J Mac, is, which makes me think another DC and Marvel one. DC has beaten Marvel in every aspect except live action movies.
Yo, Wonder Woman 84 has like bombed and shot everyone's families. Like this I've never seen. Listen, I have never seen him. Like, I've been trying to like kind of stay away from the discourse around this because it's so fucking maddening. Listen, it's okay if like you don't like it. I'm saying that don't act like this is like there's worse movies that have come out this year that people are giving more smoke to. It's like there weren't enough superhero movies and conversations, so people had to like kind of like use Wonder Woman to be the line in the sand moment. Like I don't understand why. Like there are many movies coming out next year that will probably be good, probably not be good, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. It really isn't. It does not matter. You probably watched it for $14 a month on HBO Max anyway. You watched it. They got your money. I'm sorry to tell you, they got your money already. So at the end of the day, none of this shit matters. All of these movies run together anyway. Universes, whatever, companies, bullshit. I just really, like, again, like it is so wild to see people like have such a visceral amount of hatred for this movie that is largely like just okay. That it's just like, bro, you really just want to get the most retweets off of saying this movie is terrible. I'm like, bro, Wonder Woman 84 should not have been. It was supposed to be literally a movie that just helps people forget about what's going on. It got pushed back a year. You know what I'm saying? So like I already knew when it got pushed back a year that okay, something's up with this, right? So like, I wasn't expecting anything from it anyway. It was supposed to come out like last November, bro. And then it got pushed to June, then it got pushed to Christmas Day. So like, again, Warner made $80 million off of it, the best selling movie of the pandemic so far. So they won. So whatever.
Let's move on to the next hot take. Jonathan says demo talk has made wrestling a lot less enjoyable. I agree. That's just something I can't agree with. I don't even think it's a hot take.
It's not. It is tiring. It really. I've stopped like looking at certain accounts. Stopped like I've all but kind of detached from the conversation unless I'm talking to you or I'm live watching a show.
Mm-hmm.
I just really don't like the conversation anymore because it devolved into what demo is doing this, what demo is. I don't care. I don't even think I'm in the demo anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like I literally just watch because it's something that I've always watched and I get to talk to my friend every single week about it. Like I don't care about demo talk ratings. Get the fuck out of here.
Absolutely. All right, let's speed through the next couple of these. Even though this next one is long, we got actually a couple long ones coming. This one is from Cash Out Jones at STK_64, who says AKA Meelz' future replacement. Wow, the nerve.
He has been lobbying to replace you. So the next Miz thing you do, I already got him on the line, bro.
Okay. We'll see what happens. There's only one Meelz. But nonetheless, he says in his wrestling hot take, I had to do some Meelz booking for this, but I can see them doing Roman, Keith, Drew. And I assume this is for WrestleMania. It starts with Keith winning the Rumble. He then has to choose who to face, and Roman downplays Drew and how good he is, which pisses Drew off, and they get into words, basically ignoring Keith as a challenger. This leads to Keith saying he wants both of them for both titles. So the next couple months is these three going at it in promos, brawls, singles matches with interference, which leads to Mania, and Keith Lee becomes undisputed WWE World Universal Champion. And he notes that's a nasty name.
That is fresh out of universe mode in 2K, and I don't think they can do. I don't even think in WWE you can do that, but that is fresh out of 2K. I don't know if they think of Keith in that way. We got to see how this storyline he's in right now plays out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot going on with Keith right now. He's firmly in that main event slot with Sheamus and Drew, so he's there.
He's
You
there.
know what I'm saying?
He's in orbit.
It took him 2 months. It took him 2 months, but he's there. And
He's
you know,
adjacent.
he's adjacent to the champion. The champion cares about him. You know what I'm saying? So like at the end of the day, we're gonna see what goes on here. But I think Roman has this date with the GOAT coming up.
He also had other hot takes, just in case this one wasn't really good. He says also other hot take: Baron Corbin is a lot better than what people give him. Hashtag Corbin Hive is alive. I'll agree that he's better, but not really a lot better. I would say he's better, but not a lot.
He's good. He's good. I don't think he's like the best.
Yeah, he's serviceable. Every era needs like a serviceable heel guy who can, you know, make.
He's the big boss man of today.
Right. Another hot take. He says heavy machinery and all this madness that happened with Otis this year would hit different if you switch Otis with Bronson Reed. Now, here's why I don't think this would have ever happened with Bronson Reed. Because Bronson Reed is not a goof.
Yeah.
He just isn't. Have you seen Otis? Have you seen what he looks like? I mean, I'm sure Vince McMahon sees dollar signs and all types of like sports entertainment character. With Bronson Reed, you see kind of like, yes, he's a big guy, but you see a cool athletic like person. He's not going to be pushed the same way as Otis, because Otis is a guy who rubs his tummy and does worms in the ring, and Bronson Reed jumps off top ropes and beats the shit out of people. So,
but here's the difference. Here's the big difference. Otis get hoes. Bronson Reed don't.
How we know that? How do we do? Are we sure? Are we sure?
Well, he had bros eating hot dogs. Like, had her eating glizzies by the pool.
We shall see.
Well,
we shall see. I'm not even sure if they're still together. She doesn't even mention him anymore.
Well, they had to split up because they split shows. They had to.
Love not supposed to go between split shows.
well, they usually keep real couples on the same show. So there you go. That's your argument. They keep real couples on the same show. They're not a real couple, so they had to split. You won.
If you say so. Let's go to the next one. Next one comes from Drew D25. It says, "Oh, this is interesting. It's a similar hot take that we had one before. Vince McMahon has never been wrong on his choices for top girl or guy in WWE history. So, very interesting that we got the same take twice in the same hot take span. So, I don't know if you guys are friends, Drew D and who did we have? Who was the other one? Drew D and sorry, looking for the name. I forgot. It's somewhere in here. There's a lot of words in here. I don't know if you're
wrong. He was wrong about
friends Scott and Drew D, but you guys maybe should become friends.
Vince was I say Vince was wrong about Lex Luger and Nash.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be wrong about in the 90s. Everyone was brolic. Everyone was telling brolic, and he was like, "Oh my God, have you seen him? Look at the size of him." And then like his brain like taps out, and he sees another large muscular guy walking down the hallway, and he's like, "Have you seen him? Look at the size of him." And another one.
He tried to force a square peg into the round hole with Roman because he hadn't realized how much he really had fucked up Roman from the beginning. So I say he's had a couple slip ups, and he was very, very adamant about trying to push Roman at the time and not giving up on him.
Remember when he wasn't the Roman guy, though? Remember when the news reports was like he was the Big E guy and Triple H was the Roman guy? And there was like some sort of like, I don't know if there's friction, but there was like a battle of like, okay, are we pushing Big E or are we pushing Roman? And eventually they went to pick Roman and Big E went. I mean, it all works out for Big E. I can't even say anything.
Yeah, Big E was successful. Now, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's be clear. He was not floundering when he was out of the singles race.
He was on TV. He was on Main Event. He would admit he was floundering. I think he would admit he was floundering.
You mean before the New Day? I mean, I'm talking about he was successful.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, sure, but
yeah.
He got his bread out of that. I mean, look at Final Fantasy promotion, Gears of War promotion. He's in a video game without the title. Come on now.
He's good. Next one comes from Ollie Wayne 10. It says Sonya Deville and Billie Kay will be bigger than their former tag team partners in the next 2 years. Bigger
not
is
Mandy. Not Mandy, but she's not going to be bigger than Mandy. I'm sorry. Sonya's not going to be bigger than Mandy.
I have to see more from Sonya. I just have to see more of what she kind of gives. But yeah, I don't know if she's going to be bigger than Mandy. That's a tough one. Billie Kay, it's listen, Peyton Royce is not that much of Peyton Royce is the second string on another tag team, unfortunately.
The bar is low. The bar is low, and you know why Billy's gonna win? Because she can talk. Even
Yeah.
if she's not great at the ring, she can talk. So she's gonna win because she can cut a fucking promo and she has people laughing at her. I'm pretty sure she fucking blows it down in the back. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
yo.
That's actually like a bad Wii reference. I could let me rephrase that. She probably has everyone on the floor laughing from the stuff that she does, and I think it's funny. Like she nearly makes everyone corpse every single backstage interview she does. Like she's that good.
She's good
at being funny. Hey Kayla is one of the greatest moments of this generation. You know what I'm saying? Like it is a great moment. Like let's just be clear. But I'll agree with one of them. Half a hot take.
I'll agree with one of them. This one comes from Omar. Let me see if this is the last one. It is the last one. Okay. And it's a long one. So, it says Sasha Banks and Bayley for rivalry of the year. Sasha Banks and Bayley had a great rivalry and a story around 7 months, and it being a major part of the summer. Some could see it as a rivalry beginning in September, but the overall story in itself, including bits and pieces, that made it what it was throughout the year before they split. These two were great at subtle nods and symbolism, which were rampant throughout, leading to good stuff and making it difficult to see who was going to turn on who. The women don't normally get long and well highlighted stories like this one, so it was special to see them being a part of shows for a while and getting all this time, especially cool because they're women of color. Great matches throughout, and whether it was as a team, them helping one another or going against each other. They really made the TV watchable when it was bad at times, especially before the Thunderdome and Roman. They also did fantastic in viewership, which gave them top 3 or 4 highest rated segments of the pandemic era in all of wrestling, culminating to their last match. We got 2.5 million viewers for their match, the highest of the year before the Christmas episode. I know ratings talk is mostly lame, but when you don't have fans at shows and can't hear their reactions, as well as having a decrease in viewers in like all of TV, this is a great reflection on just how much people cared about them and their story. Sir, or Madam, or Omar, I appreciate this very long, very well thought out.
He had the arguments for our ass today. He was just like, y'all not going to tell me no today.
You're not going to tell me viewership don't matter today. Listen, 2.5 million before Christmas.
I'll say the one thing that keeps me from saying this is that it took them way too long to do it.
Yeah.
And it got to a point where myself, Meelz, and a lot of other people were like, is it tonight? Is it tonight? Is it tonight? And they just would punt on it. And to me, the biggest thing that hurt this rivalry, I like to call it the Gargano thing, right? Where they stretch it out another month where they didn't really need to. I think the Oscar thing was completely unnecessary. I thought it was just unnecessary. I remember being pissed on the show after she won it, and I was all right.
I get it for the moment, because I think when you, at the end of the day, in terms of creating this moment, beyond them being tag team champions, they were also champions of respective brands. So it's not, you can call them, for the moment, it'll go down in history. I think it'll go down in history as one of the greatest tag teams of this year. I think they'll go down in greatest history of one of the women tag team and all the other stuff like that. No one will be able to say that. It's a great history-making moment. But like Justin said, it just went on longer than it should have. And we suffered through a lot to get there. Like a lot to get there. Like Lacey Evans beating Naomi like 3 times in a week. Tamina beating multiple times of what's her face? See, I can't even remember her friggin' name now. Crazy girl. Nikki Cross.
Bayley beating Nikki Cross a lot of times. Yeah, that was a down.
All of these people sacrificed to get to this one feud that happened in maybe, I think
2 weeks.
Yeah, it happened, and then it ended at Hell in a Cell. So maybe it lasted like a true like month and a half. I can't vouch for it. I just can't.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Sasha was off TV for a lot of it too. She was gone completely. Remember that she got the injury angle. She got injured again, and then she came back during the match with Nikki Cross, I think, in Night of Champions or something like that. So, or Clash of Champions, it was to me it was too much stop start, and I mean you look at even Edge and Orton, who had really good promos and really, their matches might not have hit, but they did have a storyline that was concurrent all the way through, or Randy and Drew, which I thought had matches that over delivered for what we expected from these two. I mean, even Seth and the Mysterios, you know what I'm saying? They managed to stretch that out from fucking January all the way to November. You know what I mean? So it's up there. It is in the top 3 feuds, but I just don't know. Even though that's a good argument, I'm not gonna listen. Yo, you wrote all of that. That's a great argument to me. Like I definitely think it's in the top 3, but I just think it took too damn long to get to where we needed to be.
I agree 100%. And with that, as we're getting close to the end of the show, I think we should just do our predictions for 2021, or just any thoughts on things that we're moving forward for 2021. Justin, what would you like to see in 2021? What would you like to see more of?
I want to see NXT really become more of. I think NXT needs to go more towards a sports entertainment angle, and they have been doing that because I think I just enjoyed it a lot more. I think I want to see main roster, specifically like Raw, really, again, I said it's 2 weeks in a row saying this, you need to focus on your new talent. You need to focus on your Ricochets. You need to focus on your Keith Lees. They need to be front and center next year. Smackdown, Bianca Belair needs to be front and center. You need to really carve out who the next guy is below Roman and KO and Daniel Bryan, because there are guys there that need that chance. And you need to carve out who that's going to be, because once these programs are over, there's no draft coming after that. You have to build somebody up to carry that summer and move on. So create these new stars and really build them. There is such a depth of talent, and a lot of these guys are not going anywhere anytime soon. So you need to build them up and get them to where they need to be now.
Absolutely. I would say probably I would like a lot more compelling television. If I'm watching every week, please do not make me regret watching every week, because watching Raw has been... As we say this, it's still hours before Raw. I haven't seen a match announced. I haven't been looking on the timeline. I haven't seen many matches announced. It doesn't even seem like they have Raw kind of under control, or kind of any sort of long booking with this. Let me actually take a look now. But
there's nothing. I'm on Twitter right now. Nothing.
Yeah, so it's kind of... make us want to watch TV again. Give us these moments. Give us these experiences. Build up to this segment. Something along those lines. I need something better to watch TV. And that goes, and that can lean over into the NXT thing too, because I do think sports entertainment, as good as the matches are in NXT and as much as an alternative it provided, I don't think it'll get across as strongly enough without the character building and everything that they're doing on NXT now. So I hope more so towards the future we build towards that. And there's just a couple. I mean, I want to see more for friggin' Ricochet. I want to see more for, like, God, who else? I mean, who strikes you that you would like to see them do a lot more with in 2020?
You got to do more with Keith Lee. I mean, that's at the top of my list. You got to do more with Keith Lee. Ricochet's there as well. Drew Gulak is there as well. I want to see them do more with him. I think he does well, with the funny stuff, but I want to see him get serious. Aleister fucking Black, come on, you can't find anything for him to do. Come on, you put the Fiend on TV every week. You can't find something for Aleister Black to do. I just feel like the reason the TV isn't compelling is because we keep seeing the same people over and over and over and over and over again. That's why, like, Riddle or Lashley is exciting, because it's different. It's not just facing and beating the same guys over and over again. Like, do something different with these guys. And I think that's the factor where NXT like works, because you put a guy like Leon Ruff in that position. We'd never seen it before. And it was interesting and it was compelling and it was awesome, because he was a really dope face. And, Damian Priest even. So it is like, it is definitely like something where we have to start getting these guys that you've called up and they have no, direction, get them in a position to succeed. And I think that they really should be doing that right now. So that is what I think we should be looking forward to in 2021. Once again, thank you all for listening to the A Show throughout 2020. That's for me and Meelz as well. You've made this such a fantastic show and such a fantastic experience for both of us. And it's been a pleasure to be talking to you guys in a pandemic. One of the first things for everyone, one of the first times we've ever done this, but doing a wrestling show in a pandemic, really, really crazy. But, as always, follow us at the A Show RNC. Follow me at OGJohnny5 and Meelz at Meelz TV. Thank you guys. Please have a safe, blessed New Year's. And we'll see you guys next week on the A Show.